Hey guys, Evergreen Gun Reviews, doing my tips and tricks video for Royal Tiger Imports. I've now purchased about 10 different guns from Royal Tiger Imports, and I figured, it'd be a good time to share with you guys some, different tricks that I found personally useful when ordering from them. Another question I want to answer during this video is kind of like, what is worth buying? Because I know you hear a lot of different things about a lot of different guns from Royal Tiger Imports, and I just wanted to share my thoughts on things that I personally think are definitely worth buying. So I'll touch on some things as far as like what is worth buying, as far as if you're a repeat customer, something if you're a new customer. So anyway, guys, let me kind of get into it here. First off, I want to also thank my subscribers and all you guys for your input. I'll always love hearing, what you guys have to say. If I happen to miss anything during this video that you had a question about, feel free to leave that down in the comments below. I definitely try to get to those comments and answer your guys' questions. So after buying my last rifle from Royal Tiger Imports, not this guy here, but a different gun. It's a straight pull rifle. If you guys are interested in seeing about that, I have a video for that that I just posted a few days ago. But after ordering my last rifle from them, they sent me a thank you card, which I thought was pretty nice. They sent me a free mug, pen, sticker, stuff like that. So I think they definitely know that I've been ordering some stuff, or maybe they're just doing that for their customers. I don't know. But first gun I wanted to touch on, guys, as far as like something that may or may not be worth ordering from Royal Tiger Imports. This is a 30 carbine here on the table. This is obviously a classic gun, a gun that I think a lot of people want to add to their collection. However, in my opinion, this is a gun that I would say to hold off on ordering from Royal Tiger Imports, because there's still, I know the market as far as like surplus guns goes is kind of crazy these days. And I know these guns specifically are like crazy high in price. Some people asking like $2,800 for, certain ones that aren't necessarily even that special. So this is a gun I would personally say, to hold off on ordering from Royal Tiger Imports, just because I think there's still deals to be had out there. I was really looking at their 30 carbines for a long time. I know that was kind of a big thing 3 years ago when they first, started selling their guns on the hype about them was fresh. But, I think unless you're, there's certain, things that, I'm trying to think of how to word this. There are certain examples that are, there's exemptions to that, but I would like, maybe if you're looking for, one that's unmolested or like in original condition or something like that, that hasn't been updated by the military, obviously there's, exceptions to that. But if you're not looking for something super specific, I would hold off on ordering one. This was one of the most produced guns. I think it was maybe the most produced gun that we produced during, the Second War. So, there's a lot of them around, and if you just want to own one, you don't necessarily care if it's, a specific version of it or specific finish, or, you don't care if it has the IBM barrel or if it's a Rockola or if it's a Winchester or whatever. If you just want to own one, I would recommend shopping around. I was looking at them for a long time on there, and then one popped up in one of my local stores for $900. So I'm really happy that, I waited, because I found one under $1,000. So, and this one shoots great. This isn't one that's, a junk one or anything like that. This one's in, in great shape, shoots great. I love this little gun. So if you're wanting a 30 carbine, this is a gun I would personally, hold off on ordering. If you're a collector and you were looking for something specific, I'm not trying to deter you from them, because they definitely have some really cool versions of the 30 carbine on there. But most people don't own a 30 carbine and are just looking for one that's affordable or looking for one to add to my collection. So here's a gun that is pretty old. This is a Veterli Vitale. There's a lot of different neat videos about these guns on there, all over YouTube, actually, really. But this is a gun that if you're a new buyer and you're just looking at guns on Royal Tiger Imports, this is something I would kind of stay away from, guys. These aren't something that you're going to go out and shoot all the time. These guns are very old. If you're a collector and you're looking for the next thing to add to your collection, I think these guns are awesome. I'm not trying to deter anyone from them, but this is something I would hold off on the one neat thing that is super cool about them is that a lot of these are antiques, so you can have them shipped right to your front door. You don't have to have them sent to an FFL or anything like that. So that is something that's very neat about them, but these aren't something that I would recommend you pick up right away from Royal Tiger Imports. So if you're like me and you're 9 guns into Royal Tiger Imports, then this is something that I think you should definitely pick up, but it's something that I would avoid getting right away for sure from Royal Tiger Imports. So they're definitely really cool guns. So let me grab a few more guns here, guys. Let's see. Okay, a gun that I absolutely think is worth picking up is, I'll touch on their Carcanos. Specifically, these Carcanos this is specifically one that's from Italy. Guys, you can't go wrong with these little Carcanos. I think we're in kind of a prime time for the Carcano. As far as years back, we had kind of a big wave of the ones from Finland, and then we got all the ones from Ethiopia, and now we're getting these ones from Italy. So right now is, in my opinion, a better time than ever to pick up a Carcano. I think they're as low as they're gonna get. So these ones specifically from Italy are great examples. They're in great shape. So I would hold off if you're a new buyer on the ones from Ethiopia themselves. So pay attention to those listings, because they do have some of these that are from Ethiopia and some that are from Italy. So great guns. Some of these you can see chambered in the updated round. I think it's like 7.7, but this one's in 6.5. This one I paid under $200 for, with a reproduction sling and a clip. So that's in a kind of a value in itself. So these guns I think are great. I would not hold off on picking them up. I also think for you guys who are, kind of collectors or have a lot of firearms, even if you're not really into mil-serp guns, these are a great entry-level way to get into mil-serp guns, just because they are very affordable. So I just think they're great guns. So I'll pop my other one up here as an example of a gun that is the Ethiopian version. This is a long rifle here, but this one's from Ethiopia. Definitely a little bit more worn, but these are kind of special in their own way for people who are collecting. The history behind these Ethiopian ones is really neat. A lot of them have the AOI stamp on them and stuff. So not trying to deter you away from the ones from Ethiopia, just because they're more worn out or whatever, because I think they're definitely neat in the fact that they have history behind them. But as far as a shooter, most people want a gun that's going to be a shooter that they can take out to the range and go shoot. So that's why I would recommend you pick up one of the ones that is from Italy itself right now over the ones that are from Royal Tiger Imports. But then again, guys, if you've got some extra money in your pocket, you're trying to burn some money, definitely pick one of these up. They're worth rolling the dice on. A lot of these are under $200, $150. Even if you get one that's not a great shooter, I think they're great. I don't think they're gonna lose any more value. $150 for a gun, especially that is rich in history. I think these are absolutely worth picking up. So don't miss the Carcano bandwagon, guys. I think now's a better time than ever to pick up a Carcano. So, like I said before, great entry level way to get into mil-serp guns. Great, they're good guns. A little underrated in my opinion. Another gun I want to touch on is either the Steyr or the Budapest, the Mannlicher straight pull rifles. These guns are another gun that is absolutely worth picking up right now, maybe even more than ever. For years and years, the listings on Royal Tiger Imports, maybe for even 4 years now or 3 years, has been like, act now, get one now, kind of like, trying to hook people on getting one. But guys, now that they've been selling them for 3-4 years on their website, I'm a little curious on how much of these they actually even have left. They could have a ton left and they could be selling them for another 5 years, but they might not. But for the price of at least the 8x50 versions that you can get that are like off the pallet random, $150 if they're on sale or whatever for the long rifles. This one's a carbine. I don't think you can go wrong. The straight pull rifles have just as much history as the Carcanos, being kind of like a reparation type gun as payment to the Italians, and then they used them down in Africa or brought them down to Africa. Cool history behind them, and if you get one that's in the updated cartridge, I think they can definitely be great shooters. This example that you guys are seeing here is the one that I just did a video on. If you're curious about it, I did my unboxing on it. Tonight, after I'm done with this video, I'm gonna be working on cleaning this one up. So I'll show you an example of one that's in its original cartridge. This one I've obviously done stuff to and cleaned it up, but this is in its original cartridge. And so if you're a first time buyer, guys, I'll steer you a little bit away from the ones that are in the original 8x50. That's just because you can't find ammo for it. People who are kind of, collectors and have a lot of guns already, these are great guns. Very well made guns. Back in the day, these rifles were very costly. They cost a lot of money, and a lot of companies wanted to adopt the Mannlicher platform and stuff like that, but they just couldn't afford to. So it's not like they're a junk gun for the price that these guns are, at $150 for a random one. That's how much this one was, $150. I think they're absolutely worth it. So new buyers, I recommend the updated cartridge. That's the 8x56 for people who are, collecting. I think it's a great time to get these guns. So one day they'll be worth a lot of money. I think these guns will actually absolutely, when these guns run out someday, whenever Royal Tiger Imports runs out of them, I think they'll absolutely be worth a bunch of money. So that's another gun I highly recommend you guys pick up from Royal Tiger Imports. So some tricks I will share with you as far as if you're picking up the guns that are from specifically Ethiopia. A lot of people are like, oh, I've been burnt on this or whatever. And I don't want anyone to feel that way, like when purchasing a gun, because that obviously isn't fun to buy a gun and not be able to, not have it be a shooter or something that you're happy with. I will warn all you guys, excuse me, allergies. I will warn all you guys that the guns that are coming out of Ethiopia, they're all a little bit of a project. None of them come very clean. I'll maybe pull this one up here again. I don't know if it looks dirty on the camera, but this one is actually one of the cleanest examples I've received, but it definitely is going to need a lot of cleaning before you shoot it. Don't ever buy one of their examples, I have any of their guns from Ethiopia and not clean it. A lot of these guns sat for a really long time. So, but anyways, guys, and this gun is a gun like I said, that's not from Ethiopia. This is from Italy, and this gun came like shooter ready. Basically, it came super clean. I've done nothing to this except for put the sling on it that they gave with it. So. And I know they also have those Swiss straight pulls. Those aren't obviously from Ethiopia. So definitely for you guys who are just wanting a gun out of the box that's is gonna be a great shooter, that's a great path to go. But something I definitely recommend is if you're specifically wanting like one of these straight pulls or something, I definitely recommend the individual listings over the. You can do the hand select, and that's where apparently they pull 10 guns out. They pick the nicest looking one, and I think maybe they shine a light down it to make sure there's rifling and stuff present. Maybe run a bore snake or a snake down the barrel of it or whatever. But in my opinion, guys, as far as, looking down the barrel of some of these guns that are very dark, very dirty as far as the barrel goes, I think you need to personally do, more to know that the gun is going to be a good shooter. So the hand select thing doesn't, in my opinion, mean that you're going to get a gun that's a great shooter. So the individual listings, I feel like they personally go a little bit more into depth about giving, specific information about the gun that you're looking at. So you might pay a little bit more money that way, but I feel like it's definitely a safer way. If it's worth it, in my opinion, it would be worth paying, maybe $50, $60 more for a gun that was an individual listing to know that you're well, one, to see what you're getting, and two, to know that, have a little bit more peace of mind that way. So, and I'll show you guys an example. I want to show you an example of a gun that me and my buddy both ordered Yugo M48s off of there, which was actually a rifle that I heard probably about the most amount of negative stuff about their Mausers on their website. Just, I don't know if it's because the 8mm ammo was even more corrosive than other rounds or what, but I heard a lot of not great things about them, and we both ordered one. I ordered mine in just regular form, didn't pay the hand select, and he did pay the hand select. So I'll show you guys that rifle here. I'm gonna lay my K98 out on the table. There's my VZ24. That's not the rifle either. I've got to get all my guns out of the way here. Too many guns. Okay. So I'm setting a lot of Mausers on the table, but I want to give you guys some examples here. These three rifles that are right here are not from Royal Tiger Imports. This gun is, though. I've done a lot to this rifle since I got it, so obviously they don't look like this when you're going to get it, but like I said, I ordered one that was just regular listing, and he picked one that was a hand select option, not like an individual listing. And both of our guns came about the same. Only difference is that I got the A model Yugo M48A, and he got the like milled version or whatever. Besides that, his actually even had a broken part. The spring in there, granted that's a really cheap part, but you know, he still paid hand select and got something that was equal to, or maybe even in lesser condition as the one I got. So, you know, kind of a bummer thing. So I don't think they purposely did that, but guys, they're not like taking these guns apart when they do hand select or anything like that to make sure that like it's going to be a gun that you know is going to be a shooter. So they might not even do that for the individual listings, but at least you can see things like as far as the wear and stuff goes on it. Like some small gashes and stuff like that aren't a huge deal personally to me, but you know, sometimes you can get rifles from them that'll have big gashes, like kind of with splinters and stuff, and that type of stuff is obviously gonna be more work to fix. So I kind of like, one thing I do like about ordering the dirty guns from Ethiopia is that it's kind of fun as a project to fix them up and make them look, you know, nice again. It's kind of rewarding, but they definitely come dirty. So I wanted to show a few other examples of Mausers. Like I said before, none of these guns are from Ethiopia. So the bottom gun is a VZ24, and I originally bought my Yugo as kind of a replacement for a K98, which I have right here. And because I was like, oh, you know, I could get a couple of these for the price of a K98. And you know, I bringing this up mainly because I want you guys to remember that if you see a price listed, the prices are really catchy on there. Like you'll see a price and you're like, oh man, that's a good deal. But you also got to remember, if you're doing something like hand select, you're paying that 50 extra bucks, plus you're paying shipping at the end. Plus, if you know you're not an FFL, you have to pay a lot of times an FFL transfer fee. So you will end up paying quite a bit more money than what you see, you know, as a listed price. So these guns are actually, the Yugos are actually on sale right now for $250, which is, I think, a steal. So, and this gun right here is a great shooting gun, and this was one that I picked right out of the pile. So this is a gun I think right now that's definitely worth ordering if it's just out of the pile. So I've been really happy with mine, and the finish on this gun is probably the best finish out of all the Ethiopian guns I've ever received. Great finish left on this gun. So yeah, if you want to buy one of those, you know, as a replacement for, you know, another Mauser action rifle, because you can't afford like an Argentine Mauser or K98 or something, I want to share a quick trick with you guys that I found. Just call around all of your local gun shops. And when I say local, I mean like anything within, you know, 2.5 hours of you. Sometimes it's worth a drive. I found personally 2 or 3 different K98s that were sporterized. Gross, right? You know, but it really isn't too hard and to get them back to their original form. A lot of times those sporterized ones can be overpriced, but you can also a lot of times find those sporterized ones for a lot, you know, cheaper, because people who actually know this motorized rifle isn't worth as much, who have a brain, are going to price them fairly. So that's how I got my K98. I would have never been able to afford one had I not gone that route. I bought a sporterized one, then I, kind of slowly over time accumulated the parts to put it back together to original. So the stocks for these rifles are really expensive, but I was found out that you could order these stocks out of Israel. A lot of them got sent to Israel after the war, and they converted theirs to 7.62, and that's why it's got that carved into the stock. It's still, this one's still an 8, but the stock I got for $100 instead of $500 or something crazy like that for the stock, because they can be really expensive. Handguard was $20, and then the little parts are like $15 a piece or whatever. And then you can actually order a really cool kit for both this Yugo and the K98. eBay is a source I got both of them from, where you get the cleaning rod, the hood sight here on the end, and the reproduction sling, which in my opinion, a lot of times, like when you're getting a gun from Royal Tiger Imports, they don't come complete with those things. So very affordable to get that kit to make the gun feel whole, I guess. Especially with these Mauser rifles, if they have the option for the hood sight, I always like to put them on it. I don't know. I think it's kind of an iconic feature of the Yugo and both the K98 as well. So just like having it on there makes the rifle feel complete. So if you don't know, these cleaning rods aren't like a full length cleaning rod. They were designed for I guess like you and your battle buddies to put yours together and make one long one to use as a cleaning rod. But you can see on the Yugo there that it has that sight hood and the cleaning rod there, as well as the reproduction sling. It's a different color for the Yugo. But anyways, and another really neat thing you can get for these Yugos that I love is you can get these. This is a non-tap, so you don't have to drill into your pretty crest or anything, or feel like you're destroying your gun by doing that, because obviously, in my opinion, that's something that's really frowned upon. This is a non-tap, add-on that just goes into your pre-existing sight. They make some that are called a scout rail that go up here too that you can put on, which might be a better option for the Yugo, just because this bolt handle isn't a full turn down like the K98s is. It's kind of angled a little. It's like in between a straight bolt like these two guns here and a full turn down bolt. And what they did is they shaved the back side of it a little flat so you could get your hand under there instead of cutting this groove. And it makes that bolt handle come up a little bit more, so it can be kind of tight for a scope, but still works good, just a little more cramped up in here. So that scout rail might be a better option if you wanted to put like a rail on it or something. But both options of that scout one and this particular model are a great way to go if you don't want to tap into your gun and put a scope on it or something. Made this one look kind of modern with that scope, but fun to be able to put a scope on your older Milsurp rifles. And I've seen people do kind of like a resto type, put the ghillie suit thing on there and everything to make it look kind of cool. So anyways, guys, I liked it. I love the Yugos. I've been very happy with mine. I just wanted to share that personal experience with you guys, so it's something to look out for. So, and there's other good deals to look out for, guys. I know the Milsurp market can be kind of tough right now, but I wanted to share these two other examples with you. This is a gun that I got at a local store. It was a while back, but it's a Spanish Mauser, so it's definitely not worth as much as some of these other examples. But I got this gun for a little over $200, and it came with 4 boxes of ammo, brand new PPU ammo. So I was like, oh, that's a no-brainer, paying not very much for that rifle after you account for the ammo. So, and I already had other 8mm, guns. So there's deals to be had out there, guys. Don't, sometimes it's okay to shop around. This was a gun right here, my VZ24, which is arguably one of the best, one of the smoothest actions you can get on a Mauser, which I would have to agree with on that. Very nice gun. I called all around looking for one just because I've seen the prices on these VZs get really high. People are starting to figure out what these things are worth. So I just started calling around, and I did that one month. I called around and couldn't find anything that was at least, in my price range. Finally, I called out near Spokane somewhere, on a gun shop had this one. Kind of smelled like cigarettes, but I sanded it down just a little bit, or roughed it up a little bit and put some linseed oil on there, and got this gun for a really fair price that way. So never hurts to just call around, check prices. Okay guys, so we talked about the Carcanos, definitely worth getting. We talked about the Mannlicher straight pull rifles, definitely something that's worth getting. The Yugos for $250 on sale, definitely worth getting, for sure worth getting. You know, and some people might say, oh, well, $250 rolling the dice on, you know. For some of those rifles, you know, I think the way to go with Royal Tiger Imports is the less you are willing to gamble, the less chance of it, like if you get burnt on something, or you know, it's gonna be as bad. But I personally, with both the straight pull Mannlicher straight pulls, the Carcanos, and the Yugos, if you're getting the Ethiopian ones and out of the pile or whatever, I don't really think there's a whole lot to get burnt on, just because they're so affordable as is. I think you're getting a pretty fair price for them. Personally, I think you are. Okay, let's cover another gun here. I got an Enfield here. This is a #1 Mark III, or I forget exactly what this one is. This is a Star, which I forget what the Star means exactly. I think it means it was like updated or something at some point. This is a gun that another gun I'm going to recommend you guys kind of steer away from. Much like that 30 carbine, you know, there's obviously super cool examples of these guns on Royal Tiger Imports, and there might be certain models that I don't personally know a ton about these, but there might be certain models on their website that are, you know, harder to come by. And, you know, if you're a collector and you're wanting one of those, not going to steer you away from. They're definitely a great source for, you know, rare versions maybe of these. But for a lot of people, it's, you know, they just want to get one. I would say for most people, they just want to own one, and they're thinking about maybe using Royal Tiger Imports as a source for that. Much like I just talked about my K98 earlier, about how I just kind of built that gun myself and saved, you know, a lot of money. I paid like a quarter of what most people pay for it by doing it that route. These guns, in my opinion, are even easier to do that with, just because there's so many of the drill purpose rifles you can buy, and there's the C grade versions of these you can buy on Royal Tiger Imports. So kind of building your own, you could just buy a C grade one and go buy one that, there's a lot of these that are sporterized that you can put back into the original for furniture by buying a C grade or a drill purpose one. You might be into it a little bit more than buying, you know, a complete like B grade one off of their website, but you're going to get one that's a lot better condition, probably shoots better, gonna have nicer, you know, probably gonna have nicer finish. It's not gonna have that big import mark stamped into the, you know, lasered into the side that you have to look at. So, you know, that's a few more things to think about. So, yeah, guys, really, it's not too hard to throw them back into their original furniture. So I personally, if I were to go back, I would have just bought a C grade one, and then went down to my local store and went and bought one that had been turned into a hunting rifle, and thrown it back into its original furniture. Because a lot of those ones that are, you know, turned into a hunting rifle, they're in great shape. As long as they haven't been tapped into like a scope or something, then for sure. But anyways, guys, yeah, something I would steer you new buyers away from for sure. Not trying to discourage anyone from getting these, but you know, sometimes it's worth shopping around a little bit and seeing what else is out there, because I think there can be better deals to be had, especially for something that's, you know, you want to be super shootable. Okay, let's see what else I've got here. Might have a few other guns I want to share with you guys in here. Really, I think, guys, I think I've really covered it. You know, I got another old gun that's from Royal Tiger Imports. I can pull this back up here. It's just an example, so I don't have to pull that one out of the back. But the older rifles, like I was saying, if it's not your first gun you're getting from Royal Tiger Imports, or your first milsurp gun, then go ahead and shoot away for it. But if you're wanting something that's shootable, some of these old guns definitely need to be looked at, thoroughly cleaned and stuff like that before you ever attempted to shoot them. Especially these Vetterlis, they're not something that is super shootable. So just keep that in mind, guys. some of those other examples of guns that I popped up here are definitely guns that I think can be shootable Ethiopian guns, but and I think that's about it as far as guns goes, guys. I wanted to steer you a little bit more towards those individual listings. I think there can, in a lot of ways, can be a better deal than the hand select. As far as if you're gonna gamble, guys, obviously if you're gambling less money, less chance of you being burnt on anything. I talked a little bit about the Carcanos and how I think right now is the best time to get them. Some people think that the prices on some other mill certs unrelated to Royal Tiger Imports might go down because I know the market's kind of crazy right now. But I think personally, part of the reason that the market might be the way it is you have a whole generation of people who are, whether they're in their late 20s, mid 20s, just became of age to buy, these guns. I would personally say my generation, we grew up in the early 2000s playing a plethora of games that were World War II related. There's all these movies that came out in the early 2000s that were these World War II movies, and people were looking for a way to get their foot in the door as far as like a military surplus rifle goes. And so I think the prices are going to continue to go up on some of these guns. So I would say one personally that I wouldn't miss out on is those straight pull rifles, the Mannlicher straight pull rifles, as well as the Carcanos. I think they're a gun that's always been underappreciated in this country. They've never really been worth a ton, but like I was saying, with the guns years back that came out of Finland, and then the ones out of Ethiopia, and the ones that are coming out of Italy, that is, some of the major groups of those Carcanos that, that you're going to see. And once those rifles dry up, I think the Carcano might finally actually go up in value. So anyways, guys, I think I might kind of leave it at that. I did want to talk about one more thing. I wanted to talk about as far as ordering and stuff goes from Royal Tiger Imports. If you're newer, you have never ordered from them, or you've ordered from them in the past, don't know if you've noticed, but their website has been updated. It was a little while ago that they updated it, but their website looks better than it ever has. Personally, I've ordered a lot of different guns from different websites besides Royal Tiger Imports, and I find that their ordering process is extremely easy, really straightforward. So that's something that's really nice. Their customer service is, I would say, pretty good. I've heard some things on older videos where people had like tough time getting a hold of them and stuff, but since then they must have come a long ways, because I feel like their customer service has personally been really, really good in the past when I've had to reach out to them. So anyways, guys, yeah, I just want to let you know, I think actually Royal Tiger Imports is a fairly good company. There's not a lot of other options right now for getting these plethora of these military surplus guns. So we got to take advantage of it while we can. This was kind of a blessing when Royal Tiger Imports started selling these guns a few years back. Maybe even offered a little bit of relief as far as pricing went for some of these guns, like the straight pulls or the Enfields possibly. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna leave it at that. If there's any other questions you can have me answer, or you want me to answer, leave it down in the comments below. I definitely try to answer those, and we'll be reaching out to those comments and replying to you guys. So anyways, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Feel free to give a like, subscribe. I'm definitely working on a bit of a campaign to make my content better, be able to provide better content for you guys. So anyways, guys, leaving it at that. Evergreen. I'll see you next time.